Good morning. Who do we got in here with us? Yeah. Good morning. Oh, sorry. A little close to my mic there. Good morning, J-Dub. How you doing? Let's see. There we go. Is that right? Yes. Time to go find some money, huh, baby? Who all do we have with us this morning? If you wouldn't mind just letting us know. Excuse me. All right. Yeah. Is that right? Is that right? Let's see how I can do this. Detach. Hopefully this doesn't bog us down. Good morning, Justin. How you doing? Glad to have you here. Believe I did share this to the Facebook group, right? Yes, I did. Alrighty. So since we already have some people in here, getting my coffee ready. Yeah, I need to re-up my own cup actually. Be my second for the morning. I woke up a little bit later than I wanted to, but we're right on time for the stream and getting ready to go. So today, what I'm going to do. Good morning, Stephen. Glad to have you with us, Justin, J-Dub. What I'm going to be doing is I have what I call a liquidity scanner built out in my system that basically identifies where the money's going and where the most money is going. And based off of that, I'm able to see and make determinations on trades based on following the money, basically. And so that's what I want to share with you here. What I'm thinking about doing is allowing for this liquidity scanner to be on a separate stream. You like that idea? Be on a separate stream, basically, and just running all day so you can follow the money as well. Of course, what's going to happen is you're going to find your larger cap stocks all day trading most of the money. But what we can do is go in here and add to this to kind of limit it down. Right now we're just looking at equity stake type investments right now until we start putting together our option segment and guidance. And then once we put that segment together, we're going to start trading off of that and basically repeating the process and processes that come with it, the strategy behind it. So what I'm going to focus on in this liquidity scanner is any stock that is between 25 cents and $25. I have my baby girl with me. She has a new little play pool with a bunch of those little play balls you used to see at like McDonald's and stuff. So she's having a field day here. Is that right? All right. So what this did was narrow it down between any stocks that are currently priced at 25 cents to $25, so that we can kind of pull out all of the stocks that are the larger and mega cap stocks, because they're always going to see large amounts of money going through them every day, by the billions. But what this allowed us to do is find some of these stocks that are at a lower price point, but still seeing billions in transactions, even 500 plus million. What the scanner does is it looks for any stock that has seen more than $2 million dollars worth of liquidity go through their transactions. And what I can do from there is, I can either focus on ones that pulled back the most, and find opportunities of a swing from the bottom side. I can focus on only the ones that are green if I wanted to, based on percent change. Let's see. Is that right? She's becoming very talkative now, and I'm enjoying it for sure. So what that did was it narrowed down all those that are green, no more than 10%, an increase. And what I can do from there is basically I can export this tab and add it into my trading view. So we'll go through that process real quick. Watch list. House finally passed the stimulus last night. Yep. Now it's on to the Senate, which is, before the vote even gets there, is a 50-50 House with the Vice President being the tiebreaker. So we'll see how that goes through. Hopefully, for the sake of the people, that really need it, that have saw so much devastation, they're able to get that passed for us, and we see some of that come back to the market, and see some recovery basically from the pandemic. Stimulus is always good in times of crisis. Of course, there's arguments on, the damage done in the future, but if we all pull together, I think we can surpass that as well. So, pretty happy to see that for people that need it. What I'm looking for now is my list, so I can import that real quick. So just give me a second to do it. I should have did it earlier, but I wanted to do the live scan with you guys so you can kind of see what I'm pinpointing. And what this will allow me to do is it should allow me to import this directly into TradingView, because I have the symbols here, and we'll focus on these to find potential buying opportunities. I'll do another list, and I'm going to call this our liquidity stock list, and we can start tracking these. I know yesterday we spent some time after the market closed for some of you that were able to visit us and join in, and basically recap. I wanted to do that yesterday so that we could take the time today in basically finding new opportunities going into the week, following money, most importantly. Let's see, import list. Oh, I probably didn't even have to do all that. Assets, watch list, liquidity stocks, and here. See if it pulls that in there for us. Or it might have to be a straight CSV file. I think that's what it was last time I tried to do this. So let me create a new file here. Drop those in there. And then I will save this. But also, we can still review anything that you guys may be interested in looking at. More than happy to do that. But I just want you to see how I'm looking at this going into next week myself, for my personal account and for the Millennial Investments account. Watch list 1. All right. Yeah. Is that right? She's getting it back there. Oh, I should have did a CSV. Sorry. It's taking a little bit longer than we wanted to, but it's the process in finding the money, man. CSV, save, and then import. Is that the right one? Can't add more than 1,000 symbols. I didn't know we had 1,000 here. Didn't look like 1,000 to me. Or was that 100 symbols? Import. Try this again. This one here. There we go. Okay. So, of course, before we get into that, we always need to look at the overall market and how it's performing. And as you've seen, I will be publishing this chart and sending it in the chat. I'm not sure if you're on your phone. I will be sending this in the chat. I'm trying to find a setup for everybody because I know some people are looking at this on their phone. Some people may be on a desktop. I'm not sure. And if I send this information to you, I'm not sure how it's going to react. So it's something we need to test moving forward, but we can definitely get set up where I can publish these charts for you and you can use them going through the week actively. And they will give you these guidelines to follow as far as these chart patterns that we have developed on the actual chart, and see how things are reacting moving forward, whether it's the SPY or an individual stock overall. You fell? Let's see that. There we go. Let's see that. There you go. Sorry. But so the SPY pulled back into our downward channel. Unfortunately, we were looking forward to hold that support at the 381 yesterday and continue moving sideways at least in order to churn and break back out to the upside or even break down. But that would have allowed some time for stocks to rebound if it did bounce up. Of course it didn't, so now we're in this downward channel. It still looks like we're heading strongly for this 368 level. And that is a key level to pay attention to. I would also pay attention to how it reacts to the 374. If it breaks below that and finds support between the 368 and the 374 and stays above the 368, then I would call that a market churn, where you can buy basically into any investments that you're looking for. So I'm not necessarily saying, to wait until it hits 368 before you start buying into new long-term positions or swing trade positions, but just make sure that the market's reversing first. Before you just jump into anything and start losing money, and then a lot of people start freaking out and stuff. But we can catch stocks at cheap prices on the way down for sure. So something to keep in mind. So market pulling back. I want to see if we get back up going into the beginning of the week, or if it pulls back. So I'm gonna rename this actually. Oh no, I did not mean to do that. Knocked one off the list. Let me pull this over here and see what it was I pulled out of there. It was American Airlines. Anyways, so now we can go down this list and kind of do some analysis on some of these stocks. And like I said, this is where the most money is traveling or traversing through in the market. Come on up. Jeez, I don't want to lose this. All right, I'll just hold it right there. And then we'll go into these once I get this back where it needs to be. So this is exactly in order based on who had the most money, most liquidity pushed through their trades yesterday, ending yesterday. And I think that's an important factor because we ended the week with people either preparing for next week and what to expect going into next week. So kind of gives us an edge on where the larger players are going and what they're focusing on, with stocks between 25 cents and $25. So just give me a second to readjust this. Oh, there we go. Sitting here trying to hold and scroll at the same time. I need to get this back up here. Long list we got to look at. I'm not going to look at every one of these, but we are going to, start from the top of the list and go down. And those will be our most important due to the amount of liquidity that went through them. So, starting with Rocket Mortgage, I've been watching this based on a lot of investor sentiment on StockTwits. And I use StockTwits to see what people are talking about the most, to kind of see where people are headed. and what their sentiment on the stocks are and stuff like that, and kind of get an idea there. But as you can see, I was looking for this to retest the 23.97. It did in pre-market on Friday before being rejected at market open and pulled back below that 22.84. What I was shooting for in that pre-market session was making sure that we stayed above that 22.84 regardless of the market open rejection, and of course it didn't do that. So it's still something we have to test at 22.84. Well, good morning, Shad. Glad you're here with us. It's something more or so of seeing how it reacts to that 22.84 once it hits that line again, before we move forward and say, okay, this is something to buy into. Of course, we're always looking for our key levels and seeing how the price action reacts to it and making our confirmations. We've made it that far, and what we're constantly practicing. And I spent the entire week focused solely on that because I don't want to give you guys too much to try to retain. If you're new to technical analysis, determining trades, or just new to the market altogether. So I just wanted to be kind of precise on making sure you understand how well this works. This type of system works, at least, identifying your horizontal levels and to identify your price ranges and how the stock price is reacting to it. We'll start moving into also trying to find out how catalysts occur without any press releases as we move into next week. And what I mean by that is when we see those support levels hit strong, setting up alerts before it does, tracking the trades very strongly before they hit these key levels of resistance that we're looking for them to break through and stuff like that. So once you see that and that alert come through, then you're watching, you're ready, and boom, confirmation comes in and it takes off. So you can catch it on the upside. I did some previous analysis on American Airlines because we alerted on the stock. And I can look into the database and see what we alerted on it. It actually performed for us pretty well, and I wasn't expecting it to really. With the American airline industry still seeing like negative 60% in travel since the beginning of the pandemic. It hasn't changed since then. It fluctuated throughout the process, but it's still lower than pre-pandemic levels, idling around negative 60%. But of course there was a lot of stimulus that was looking towards airlines and stuff like that, and we liked American Airline anyways, in the air industry. Of course there's some better ones. I'm not going to say it's the best one in the industry, but it's currently sitting at 21.03. Good morning, Antoine. Glad you're here with us. And we pushed that alert when it was still at 1634. We were looking forward to break through that 1809. And the only reason I'm talking about this trade alert is for the simple fact that we did it on December 22nd, and we were looking forward to break through this 1809 level. That's where we were looking for it to go. As you can see, it retested those levels and got rejected. And so around the 22nd, we alerted on it, and it took a while. It took about a month almost to the date, and I saw it bounce right here, and then it broke through and hit $30. Of course, it pulled back. We were hoping to find support right here to allow it to keep moving forward, but of course it didn't, and now it has, and now we're moving higher. As the virus goes away, some of these airline stocks are still pretty cheap, and you can get into them at low levels, even if you're a little late to this breakout. As you can see, this is pre-pandemic levels that this was trading at, and it was almost close to 100% of when we initially alerted on it. So you're still able to buy some of these cheap, and ride the wave until it reaches its pre-pandemic levels and stuff like that. And that's things that we're looking at long term. Of course, the airline industry is going to take a lot of support and catching up with what was lost. I mean, it pretty much wiped out an entire year, as we are now going into March on Monday with the new session. So one thing that to keep in mind with American Airlines, though, is how it reacts to the $25 price level, and I'll kind of identify that now. But this was the second most stock to see liquidity run through it on Friday in the list of stocks between 25 cents and $25. So it's something to pay attention to. Institutional money is pushing through this. As you can see, it saw almost, what was it? It was around 800 $85 million in one trading session. And what I'm going to do is pull up over here on the side is to see if we're seeing any volume spikes in the stock as well. Let me see if I have my daily. It doesn't look like I have it pulled up. Let me see. Let me go over here. I think I have it pulled up here then. No, it's actually up on the screen. Anyways, I'm going to keep moving forward. So we saw a lot of liquidity moving into the stock, and we actually are looking forward to seeing how this performs next week. If airlines are ready to basically recover and push forward back to the upside. One thing to pay attention to this is air travel numbers internationally and nationally, of course. So if you're interested in the airline industry long term for some retirement type money, definitely a good play to look at with American Airlines. So looking forward to retest those 24s and see how it reacts just on a natural growth basis. Of course, we could have some catalysts to come in and push it back to those $30 price levels like we saw when we were looking at it in the lower time frames. But once it gets above that, if you were to get into it now and it gets above that 24.85, I'd let it sit and you're good to go. And as long as it doesn't go below 24.85 ever, there's no reason to pull out of it. You might find some dips to buy more opportunities if it does perform for you. That's something I'll be looking at for a longer term play going into Monday. Of course, we've talked about fuel cell. I'm not pulling this back up just because I want to talk about it, but it landed on our list of liquidity stocks, and it actually saw about $500 million worth of transactions on Friday, and it's bouncing strongly off of that 1549. That's a play I reviewed with you guys yesterday. We're looking for a lot of these stocks that we've been watching in our coffee and stock session. We're trying to see if they're going to be stuck in these sideways channels that they're forming right here. So between the 1549 and that 2094 is what I'm alluding to right now. Seeing if they're going to be stuck in between that, or if the market pull back, if the market continues to pull back, if they're going to break these support levels that have been pretty strong for the stocks for the entire year of 2021, and some even longer than that. Some go all the way back to June, July. For example, Workhorse landed strongly on a support level that was built and held ever since June, July, providing a great opportunity to get into that stock. But moving forward, let's see. Let me pull this up too so I can get our analysis on daily averages. But next one is CNSS, and it doesn't look like it's showing up here. I don't know why. Why it is not. Let me get the name. Okay, so it's on the German exchange, and I don't understand. Let me see if I can find the symbol on the American exchange. Stock price or symbol. It's actually listed under VR. What? Is that right? Yeah, it is. It's listed as a different company name. Racta Therapeutics on the NASDAQ under the ticker VIRX. I'm wondering why. And I wish I could change this to it. I don't think it lets me. New chart, add text. How do I? VRX, maybe. There you go. All right, we got it. We'll follow it that way. Anyways, moving forward, VRX, which is actually Sunesis Pharmaceuticals, listed on the German exchange, but on the American exchange, it's listed as this for some reason. I'm not sure. Anyways, looking at it on the daily, looks like we're having some strong upside momentum. We saw, we have about 98 or 88 million, less than $500 million worth of transactions going into this. I'd do some strong DD on why before I really try to speculate on this, and I'm going to pull it up here so I can see if something broke out to cause it to jump, near $3 in Friday's session. But of course, we always start before we start to speculate anything with identifying our key levels. And the first thing that sticks out to me is the 1215, which is where it bounced off of before it actually bounced up to the 1570s. Trying to identify key levels to the top side, 1950. And what I do always is I back out to see how the price has ever correlated with these price levels before. And it's honestly been trading sideways for the most part between that 1215 1950 price ranges. But we can use that to identify additional key levels moving forward, such as, and as you see, that 1950 actually played strong support before, played temporary support here, and then temporary resistance before it broke out. And then it broke down. I would like to know why. March 9th, 2020, of course. So it looks like the stock might be trying to head back to those pre-pandemic levels, back above that 1950. It has broken out, but it wasn't able to hold support, which is something I would look forward to do. And then a top line resistance level that sticks out to me is around the $36 price range. So if we can get confirmation that 1950 is not going to continue to act as a level of resistance and rejection for us, then this could potentially be a great opportunity. I would potentially wait for this to get above 1950. I know waiting $4 more for confirmation is a little tough, but it's better to confirm the move versus, risking it. You could buy it here and ensure that it continues moving higher, but I would pay attention to how it reacts to that 1950. You'd still have a $4 jump on per share. So not a bad idea. I'm just looking at the longer term goal, which is this $15 spread right here, to actually confirm that we can hold. So it honestly could be a $20 spread, but you're lowering your risk by making sure the confirmations are confirmed above the 1950, and that we're not going to be stuck between this price range moving forward or even below the 1215, and you get caught in holding bags waiting for that to transpire. So I'm going to set those resistance levels for now, as we'll be watching these going into next week. So we'll have two lists. We'll have the initial list that we all put together. That's the list you guys wanted to look at and review. And then this is the list I'm offering the coffee and stock sessions. I'm able to do this because I don't necessarily base my premium alerts off of this. I have a better scanning system for that. But anyways, moving forward. You want to join us? Huh? You want to join us? Say good morning, everyone. She said, I'm going to tell you how to make some money. But, so next one is Devon Energy Corp, and I've actually been watching this stock all through the week. What? Huh? What? You got it? I've actually been watching this stock all through the week and how it's been performing. It has a strong uptrend. Let me pull my indicators here. You see the strong momentum swings. Even on the pullbacks, it didn't go fully red. It just pulled back a little bit before bouncing higher. And it has these compression zones. And I think we might be running into one of those compression zones. But we'll be watching to see if it topped out. Yeah. So, yeah. Ain't that right? So let's do our key levels real quick, and something to pay attention to if you're looking at DVN is that 2028 level. If you were to buy into it going into Monday, see how let's make sure it doesn't gap below it, and if it does gap below going into Monday, what is it putting? Let's see how it reacts to these levels of resistance, or these previous levels of resistance, and if that becomes newfound support. So you might have a buy zone between that 1674 and that 2028. If it does gap down for whatever reason going into Monday's session. If it doesn't, make sure if you get a position on this one to stay above the 2028 on the longer term hold or swing. This is definitely showing strong upside momentum though, so I don't think it will gap down. I'm not going to try to speculate too much on that, but I will identify that it has the potential to come back down a little bit due to the fact that it's trading within this strong channel that I'm about to identify here. We're currently midway into it, so it's a 50-50 chance that we could gap up or we could gap down. And if it does, I would pay attention to how it reacts to this to these levels here. Also, while I have you all, I'm not going to send you every single chart But if there's a certain symbol that you're interested in, any stocks that we review, whether it be any that you suggest or any that I bring up, and I do analysis on it, is that right? And I do analysis on it, just hit me up in the chat right here on YouTube and tell me what chart you would like to receive what symbol you would like to receive the chart for, and I'll publish this, and that way you can make a copy of it yourself and have these trend lines already set. Of course, you can do it on your own, but it'll give you somewhat like a templated boilerplate type setup to continue running off of to follow trends and stuff like that. But I like DVN. Like I said, I've been watching it. It's been a strong momentum stock to the upside for some time now. I want to see how it's reacted. As you can see, that 2087 is a key level because it's actually making its way back to pre-pandemic levels. And I find that very important for a lot of the stocks that I pick on a longer term swing, even if it's 2 to 3 months or, up to a year, 2 years, is the fact of how well it performed through this pandemic and if it was able to actually recapture what it lost from when the pandemic initially occurred and the market pulled back strong back on March 16th. So stocks that have made it back, it took a year to do it. A lot of them are finally making it back above that, and I like that because then now we're looking at much higher price levels. Like this was a previous level of support around the 30.74, so that gives you near $9.20 gap to potentially get into this stock. Just for now, going into 2021, of course we can look at the fundamentals and things like that. You want to play? Is that what you want to do? We can look at the fundamentals and things like that, and I'll pull those up so we can have those available. And we can see how some of these companies are performing quarter over quarter and year over year. So I'll let that take up the screen. Okay. All right, so let's look at it fundamentally. And that's basically what we're going to start incorporating in next week is paying attention to the fundamentals and what the charts are telling us. So what this does right here is it tells you your earnings per share. Some of you may already be aware of what we're looking at here, but there's certain key things that I'm looking for, and that's EPS for longer term holds like these and net profit margins. And of course, everything took a hit last year, so you'll see some of these in the negatives, but it's all about identifying moving forward how those react. And this is the longer term view on the annual basis. We'll go into it a little bit more in depth on the quarterly, and we'll be able to see the swings within 2020. What? We'll be able to see the swings going into 2020. So right now we're currently seeing negative 87.5% loss in EPS growth and negative 90% in net profit margins. You want to be up here with us? Come join the party. Is that what it is? It's me and her today. So we'll look a little bit deeper at the quarterlies. And what I want to point out is paying attention to this right here. So at the end of 2019, we saw a negative 160 EPS growth, and then it dropped all the way to 482 Q1 of 2020. Of course, Q1 2020 was the pandemic, and it's the growth process that we have made since then. And as you can see, we've jumped almost $1.53 since Q2 of 2020, and we're not far from going green on this EPS growth year over year or throughout 2021 is to pay attention to. Next thing that we're identifying is the net profit margins. If business is starting to pick up for the company, and the swings of how quick it is. So now we have a negative 132, which came down hard, of course, in Q1, and it jumped near 40 points here, but it jumped 80 points going into Q3. So I'm expecting this to go green as a company in 2021, and I'm looking forward. This is something I would look forward to watching the earnings report, which is set to be. I would like to find out when. Let me see indicators. Pull my indicators. So they just had their earnings report on the 16th. So I'll go back and see what that's looking like. I can pull that up actually. Earnings. Give me a second. So they actually had worse than expected earnings report. They came down -7 points for that was for Q4. So the next earnings report, I would pay attention to May 4th, 2021, to see how the performance of the business is overall. Of course, we're buying into it probably much cheaper than it will be in May based on its current uptrend. So something to pay attention to. I just wanted to break that down for you guys. I'm not sure if people actually base their long-term charts off fundamentals or not. Ricey, is that a stock you want to look at, Antoine? Rolls Royce? Is that what you're wanting to look at? While I wait for that answer, I'm going to keep moving forward to the next one. And this is Zynga Incorporated. It's a gaming app platform for most Androids, I believe. I don't know too much DD on it. But the stock had really started performing well back in May due to the lockdowns and stuff, people being stuck at their homes and things like that. I'm going to pull all these indicators out for right now so we can do our actual chart analysis. Give me a second. Hide indicators and drawings. Widen that up. This has definitely been looked at as a potential growth stock and something to hold long term. In the views of a lot of other analysts that I follow and stuff like that. But looking at it right now, I mean, it's only jumping, $2-3 over 3-4 months, but definitely on a strong uptrend overall. And I want to identify that. You could do it like this if you would like to, because of the points. What I'm looking for is where it hits it the most. And then we could actually do a separate one if we wanted to have somewhat of a gross spread like that. But anyways, moving forward, I think this will, let's see where we may be based on this trajectory moving forward. We're looking at the $16 price level, which is near, and that's going into March of 2022, so a year from now. This could be somewhere in the $15-16 price levels, unless that's a whole bunch of time for things to happen and change for the company moving forward. So but right now, being realistic, I like to stay where we're at, but also look at where we're going. And it looks like we're having issues right above here around the 1216s. And of course, this is during a strong, recent market pullback. One thing I'd like to point out about the stock, it didn't pull back too hard, where you saw a large loss. So that's strength right there, if you ask me, to pay attention to. Something you can sit your money on and let it run its course even through times of volatility, such as what we're dealing with now. So why did I identify that? What happened here? Why did I pull out that 14? Was I looking at it from the daily or something? Oh yeah, okay, it goes all the way back. All right, 1051. So top line is 1218 to pay attention to on Zynga. Zynga actually had girl, you're not getting my microphone, baby. Actually had about 330 million in transactions. We'll go all the way down till the top 10. So these are just stocks I want you to look at longer term. Something you could buy cheap because of the market pullback and hold on to for some time, and not have to worry about following the volatility in the markets and stuff like that. HPE, Hewlett Packard. I actually had the chance to work with the company directly, and I like the things that they're doing. Instead of just focusing on printers, they're actually pulling strongly to the consumer and commercial PC industry with a lot of new innovations in the company. I like what they're doing. They've recovered very well since the pre-pandemic. Another stock to pay attention to moving forward. We can look at the fundamentals on the company and stuff like that. It looks like we have a potential $2 to $3 spread to the upside that we have to pay attention to, and how it reacts to these levels. I want to see how that's been handled before. And since 2016 till 2020, it's traded between these price levels and never really got any higher. But I'm sure the market cap is pretty crazy high. So a lot of money. Growth stock to look at. We'll look at the fundamentals. You want to look at BCTX? Will do. Quarter over quarter for HPE, doing great on EPS growth, 94% and 93% profit margins. So the company is currently green, as you can see right here, 12 cents EPS, and then 217 on net profit margins per share. So, and then year over year, of course, they had strong pullbacks like everybody's going to see. So what I'm also going to do is I'm currently building a mobile app right now to help deliver information to you guys a lot easier. But what I'm also going to do is be building a fundamental comparison chart within the back end of the system so that I can put in this information and I can allow the system to build a certain criteria to compare growth stocks amongst each other and see how they're performing year over year and quarter over quarter to find the best ones to get in. So that's something to look forward to, and that's why yesterday in yesterday's recap I said I was going to be picking the best EV plays. I'm going to have an EV portfolio longer term. I'm going to have a marijuana stock portfolio longer term, and then I was going to do swings, and then I think there was a list, but if you were there yesterday, you know what I was talking about. But to look at some of the ones you guys want to look at, because that's what we're ultimately here for, is Ricey, or I like giving them names so I can call them that, but RYCEY, ticker RYCEY. Rolls Royce pulled back. It's been pulling back very strong. Did they do some type of split to cause this? I would like to know. Let me pull up my stuff up here real quick. I'll add it to the list too. RYCEY. OTC stock currently not listed, so I'm not sure if they're even going to show fundamentals on Thinkorswim or TD Ameritrade. Let's see what we have here. That's our lower end support level. I always turn that blue. And that is a level I'm interested in seeing why the price is having issues getting above. So that's our midline. And then, is there something specific about this, Antoine, that caught your interest? Ultimately, right there is something to pay attention to. 285 played as a strong level of support before we broke below it, and that's when you saw this dip back in October 2020. It hasn't recovered very well from the pandemic, for sure. But let's look at it very, very long term. Yeah, I'm guessing this was that's the pullback. That's why it fell like this. Okay. But I want to know why it hasn't recovered. I mean, of course, I don't know anybody just going out and buying Rolls Royces, and that's a very niche type market to get into. Let's see if they'll provide us with any information on it. RYCEY. Well, they do. They're doing well fundamentally as far as EPS growth, but their net profit margins year over year dropped negative 250%. Something to pay attention to and why. And they're not reporting anything quarter over quarter. Focused on power and propulsion systems. Segment includes civil aerospace, which engage in development, manufacturing, marketing, sales, of commercial aero engines. I didn't think about that. Defense aerospace. Let's see, I'm just kind of going through here. Power systems, solutions, computing, complete life cycle, under product. With all this that they do, I'd expect it not to be an OTC stock for one, and then two, I would expect it to be performing much better. I wonder if they have any like defense contracts and stuff like that with the military based on the stuff that they provide, what kind of commercial contracts they have. Mike, are you on with us right now? Not sure if Mike is on here or not. I haven't seen him in the past few days. What I'm going to do is, with this one, I'm going to do some more DD on it. And with DD, I'm going to turn those purple. I'm going to get rid of all this right here. That way we can do our DD. Move all these, remove all these. But you know, moving forward, just to give you your analysis on it, looks like a great buy zone, being so low, and it's been this low. The question is, why is it staying this low so long? Before everything occurred, Jetmaker warns 2.7 billion cash outflow. Are you referring to Rolls Royce, J-Dub? I see they just opened a new support facility. Has returned negative 60% to its shareholders. Ongoing challenges remain for Rolls Royce. Tumbles. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Thank you. I see that, Jado. Plunged more than 9% after it warned of 2.7 billion cash outflow as increased traffic restrictions aimed at preventing more contagious strains. So with the pandemic still looming and new strains coming, it seems like every day. Of course, girl, what do you want to do, my love? You want to play? You want to play? You want to roll? There we go. Yeah. This is definitely one to watch, how it is able to basically survive through the pandemic, through the course of it. And we could potentially see a reversal. But for this to be the company that it is, I'm guessing it's an OTC stock because it's probably listed on the European exchange. And that would explain that answer that I had. I'm going to do my DD on this one before I speculate anymore and, fall flat on my face. Baker Distribution. Call them back. Anyways, next one we'll look at, and Antoine, when I do, I'll get back to you directly about it. BCTX. Did this just IPO or did it change its ticker symbol? They're bringing out an electric car. So they're trying to tap in the EV space too in the meantime. Got you. So, RYC electric vehicle. Looks like they're coming out with an electric plane too. Definitely going to look into this for you a little bit more for sure. BCTX. Is this a fairly new stock? BioCell Therapeutics. Did they change the ticker on this or something recently, or did it just IPO? No, it didn't just IPO. It's got a 5-year chart on here. Let me see if I can find that out for us real quick, because I want to look at the previous price action going backwards. Announces public offering. And why my chart's only showing? I guess they just added it to this, or what? Oh, there we go. Okay, it was just messed up there for a minute. Cool. It does not want to show me on the 4-hour though. I know that much, or that. So we'll go off the daily. Ticker change. What was the old ticker? Do you know? I'm for it myself. Oh, BCTXF, I believe. It's a long-term stock. I got you. BFC. BCTXF. It's not gonna pull up any old info on it for me. Is that right? Yeah. What is going on now? Alright, anyways, looking at it. Now, one thing to think about with therapeutic companies is that a lot of the money they raise going public on the market is dumped back into research. And I think we've discussed that before. Now, what's weird to me is even it's listed on the NASDAQ, but it's not reporting any fundamentals. So I'll go in and see if I can find any. And I'll do some research on this a little bit more before I speculate, because I don't want to mislead you with any of my own suggestions. So right now we have that. I mean, it is flatlining since September around these price levels. So I'm pretty interested in learning why myself around the 325s. It does bounce pretty well too, though. It has a $3 spread or so that it bounces off of. Seems almost frequently. That's within the time span of 6 months that it's jumped that many times. It's jumped 3 times within a 6 to 7 month time span. And I'm gonna do this. I wish it would let me look at it on a lower time frame without causing me these issues, but that's due to the ticker change. So I can pull up. What I can do is I can pull up TOS. We could look at it from there. Give me just a second to do that. BCTX. Looks like we had a strong breakout on after our session. Let me see why.
Mr. Tom, can I get some powdered donuts?
Yeah, that's fine, baby. Oh, they just closed a public offering. They were able to capture 25 million on doing so on the 23rd. Starting to like this a little bit more. Let me see if I can pull our remove all so we can see the chart. Close this. Course, it's not going to show me the old symbol, so it's giving me kind of issues to do any analysis on this like I would want to and feel comfortable with, especially in a lower time frame. I don't like it, but let's see. Where's my 10-minute? Let me dig in on this one, Justin, a little bit. Before the offering, it only had 5,000 in the float. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to dig around on this for Justin. Put in, I'm right here. What? Come to me. Come to me. Huh? Yeah. Nope, you're not getting the microphone though. Yeah, it's not pulling up any information for me because it's a new ticker, so that sucks. But that closing of that offering seemed to be what boosted it going. I'm not seeing any other news either. I am looking over here too. This is a Canadian stock, though. I can tell that because yeah. I'll add this to our DD list, and I'll put something together for you, Justin, for sure. Moving forward. Is there any other ones that you guys want to add to our list? As far as watching on our coffee and stock sessions, and then monitoring going into the next few weeks. What's she doing? I do want to point out some that actually performed in our stocks and our coffee and stocks list. While we have an opportunity to do so, we're going an hour in right now. And that was BGI. What? What are we doing? What are we doing? You want to go running or something? A little early for that. Of course. Of course. What you want to do? Hey, Bailey. Will you bring her some toys off of her playmat? Alright. BGI bounced pretty heavily back up to 230. I don't understand why my thing's like flashing like that. It's starting to irritate me though. Here, let me reload Trading View. It's doing some weird stuff. Thank you, Bailey. Alrighty. At the end of all this, I'm gonna do something too. I'm gonna apply my scanning system to that liquidity stock watch list, and I'm gonna show you something. After we look over these, that's what we're gonna do next. Since you guys took the time out of your Saturday to join us, I want to give you a treat for it, make it worth your while. So BGI is actually showing a reversal off of that 205 on the 10-minute. I do always account momentum based off of the swings from the 1 hour. And as you can see, we're having indicators on the MACD to the upside, RSI showing the same signals, although we're seeing some pullback in the volume here. But we're seeing large buying volume spikes here going into market close and after hours. I'm going to see if there's any news that was released to cause any catalyst yesterday, and I'm not seeing anything. Not seeing anything that's just standing out to me up here. So looks like people have some strong confidence into it, holding over the weekend and going into next week. If you buy this at 230 and it jumps to 273, that could potentially give you what is that, 43? That's almost a 20% swing. If you're able to catch it around these 220 to 230 price levels. So definitely something nice to catch if you can. I know O'Shea said that he was going to be looking into it going into the week. I haven't stopped to actually look at it. Plug, another one performed. It was up 11% yesterday before closing at 447.95. We saw some selling try to spike up on us yesterday, but we've seen this pattern, this momentum pattern that is currently in right here, as well as right here, but it's compressing so hard that I actually think it's going to bounce, and that of course comes with Tesla not weighing down on it too much. CCIV, I've talked to y'all about it. I talked to you about it yesterday. It actually was one of the top players. FCell we looked at this morning. Unity was a longer term stock that we were paying attention to because it was added to the list as a growth stock. And as you can see, we haven't really looked at it. At the end of the week, we saw some large buying coming in play right here, and it looks like it's swinging back to the upside. I said this was a buy zone, a very key level to watch after this week, as we looked at it through this week, excuse me. So I'm gonna make this now my next level of resistance to pay attention to on it. Price average 979. We'll look at HTRG for sure for you. We looked at EBIX yesterday. We discussed that. It's currently going through a lawsuit, and they had their accounting firm pull out on them because of some funny things on the book. I think Reg or J-Dub told us about this and thought that it could possibly be, BS, and that's fine. If it is, that's great. I mean, is what I meant to say. Because this could actually rebound back to the $50 levels. I'm not saying that it's necessarily going to, but a key level, if it does bounce off of that and bounces back from that lawsuit, is right here. Even if they're found guilty, it's what they're found guilty of that I'll pay attention to, and what it costs them to recover from it, or what the disciplinary actions with the company is going to be. But coming off of that news, let's see how it rebounds off the 41.58. It's been trading sideways for the most part since we added it to the list. It does look like it's trying to pick up some strength to the upside. It's just not seeing large price gaps in the price action. BEP, I want to look at it from the 4-hour real quick. Looks like we could be rounding off, but don't let the 4-hour misguide you. It's all about the lower time frames within that 4-hour. I based it off the 4-hour. I split that in 4 for the 1 hour, and then I split that in 4 for the 15 to determine my momentum swings. And it looks like we're trying to trade above that 13 EMA. I would confirm a buy zone once this 13 hits this 34, and it compresses there in order to give it that launch pad to the upside. OTLK I talked to you guys about. We actually picked up a position in it yesterday. Where's my phone? Let me see what our position in it is. OTLK 947 at 210. It's currently trading at 217. We're already up 3% on the trade. Looking for a, I think it was like a 20 or 30% swing on it. What, Pud? Hey, what? Right here. Looking for like a, I think it was like 30-40% swing on this trade. GM EV play, long-term hold, highly suggested in the EV space due to the fact that they're coming out with 34 cars. Let me see when, so I can give you an idea. 34 EV vehicles, I believe. Looking for some DD on it. I'm going to do some DD on it, give you a timeline of when they expect to have all of those on the ground. That way we can track. I mean, it already has 11 new ones, it says right here, as of March 5th, 2020, that they were looking at. But I think they pushed that number up to like 34 or something crazy. So I'll do some DD on it, but I think it's a long-term growth stock. Very good to hold if you look at it from that basis. You can see how it kind of performed. Even through the downturn, it actually ended up higher than its pre-pandemic levels. So let me see. Let me pull that out. It actually ended up higher than its pre-pandemic levels after, releasing news that they were going into the EV space and things of that nature. So there we go. That's what I was trying to do. And where's Trading View is really slipping this morning. It's traded above the around these $40 price levels before. This is going all the way back to around 2017. And I was interested in seeing how it reacted to that 46. It bounced above it, of course, and now we're trading on that 48.93 level of resistance. This could retrace, so be careful. I'm not saying that it will, but it could pull back to the $46 price level to find some better. I just saw your message, Justin. Or there's two Justins here, so but I see your message on ACIC and SFTW. We actually had that on the list. We can look at those before we get into my scanning system. IVR did well. This was an insurance play based on what happened in Texas and stuff of that nature. Looking for that. It looks like we're going after like 60 cents, so about 20% swing on the trade. If we can get it to pop above that 435, we're going to 487 next is our target. I've been telling everybody to keep an eye on Bitcoin over the weekend, and I want to do that to see how we can gauge the rest of the market going into the next week. Beta, what? But to see how we can gauge the market going into the rest of the week. Here, you want and I want to see if it sticks to our new theory. That if Bitcoin pulls back, Tesla pulls back, which weighs down on the markets. And the markets are still following Bitcoin on its own due to a lot of EV plays coming into the tech sector now more than ever. ZOM was something that was highly speculated on and high expectations on it. Currently trading above that 194 support level that I was identifying. This could be a potential buy zone right here above that 194 to 212. We were hoping to find support last week. Not this week that just passed, but the week before above the 212. But of course, everything pulled back this week, so it broke those levels, and it actually broke another support level we were looking for it to rebound off of at the 194, and even went lower. So you were able to get this pretty cheap around the 162s, 170s, and stuff like that. And you'd already be up near close to 20% on the trade if you got into it. I'm not sure who has it and who doesn't. But looking for this to stay above this 196. Let me see something. It's a pharmaceutical company that let me do some research of why it's being hyped up. Full exercise of a lot, man. Trading low. I want to know what they do specifically, more for my own curiosity. Fundamentals. Of course, they don't have any fundamentals. Okay, I'll have to do DD on it as well. My own DD. I know a lot of other people have DD that they're pushing out on it and whatnot. But ARCC, we discussed that I think yesterday potentially, in yesterday's coffee and stock sessions, and it's still doing pretty well. This is more so a growth stock because of the way it was performing, but we needed to get above those 1873s to confirm that it's actually going to move any higher than it is. I think it is. Ares Capital Corp. So to look at the stocks that you guys wanted to bring up was ACIC and SFTW, which we already have, and then HRTG, excuse me, which I didn't have on the list, but I do have Beta. Come here, baby. You want this? You want that? Yeah. You want the rest of that? I'll go offline while I take care of her, or off cam. Anyways, looking at ACIC first, based on your request. Broke out to 1850, strong pullback to the 1190. Let's look at the retracement to see where we land, and I'm actually going to put it right here. So anytime a stock falls below this 23% level, it kind of concerns me, and I want to know why it bounced first and foremost. That's the most important part. It jumped on the 10th, so let's go back and look at our news and see what happened on the 10th. Gets $1 billion order from United Airlines. On the same day, it announces a deal to go public. Electric vehicle SPAC mania, the Jetsons. See a merger partner, Archer Aviations. I'm just looking through some of this DD real quick. Some of these news releases. Okay, so United Airlines made an investment in this company to focus on an electrical helicopter, it looks like. Oh, this might be... See, I haven't really even considered the electric aerospace sector. That's a whole nother space in itself. But I'm just going through this news to see why they pulled back so hard. I'd expect this to continue moving higher. To participate at the IPO Edge Forum. Baby, we're okay. There you go. Do your thing. Hey. Alright, guys. I'm sorry, but she's getting upset. What's going on? Anyways, looking at this, I think I'm going to create another watch list for us on Coffee and Stocks called the Coffee and Stock EV Aerospace Play. And it looks like I might be interested in creating another portfolio specifically on these plays. Is that right? You like that idea? Yeah. But that's the first one going on the list. We will do some analysis on it as well. I just wanted to understand what I was looking at first before I did. Atlas Crest Investment Corp. I wouldn't be interested in seeing what else they have. Something that stands out to me is that 1182, which is trading right above, and looks like it's been bouncing off of since. It's retracement from these higher price levels. We're okay. But I'm looking for price points that stick out to me out the top. High level 1590. And then this rejection right here at the 1790. This is my mid level. This could have pulled back strongly because of tech being pulled down from the market. Pullback this week. It looks like this all started the 22nd. So you might be able to buy into this at a great support level around the 1182 and ride this on, continue moving forward. Just follow it very closely is what I would suggest. And then SFTW, Osprey Tech Acquisition Corp. We've actually been following this one for some time now, and we were able to identify that the 1128 was a level of support, but it looks like it's actually here around the 1162. So I'm gonna make that, or 1168. I'm gonna make that adjustment there. As we can see, we're riding above it now. The concern is how the market's gonna open come, even Sunday afternoon, but Monday morning first, most importantly, because of pre-market. And we'll review some of these going into pre-market. It's Black Sky and EV SPAC as well. FSTW. I think I did some minor research. Company is formed for the purpose of effecting a merger, capital stock acquisition and combination. Company focused in the technology sector and identifying those companies as it's a SaaS company. Okay. We're okay. But like I said, most of the stocks that we're looking at are in great buying zones. All of these have great buying opportunities, and then if you account for, and that's all based off technical analysis, but then we want to account the fundamentals, and that's what I'm trying to build for us next, along with the DD database. So like if there's anything that you have added to this list and you want to add the DD that you've gathered for everybody to share, then I can actually create a panel. I already have it in place to display that information here. Girl, what's going on? Hey, y'all, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. I'm sorry. Had to get the little one situated. Alright. So, great buying opportunity on SFTW. going into next week. But like I said, I want to see if, first and foremost, we need to pay attention to how the market's open going into the week. Of course, we have stimulus coming out. Yeah, of course, man. Always. We have stimulus being approved by the House. We have to get it approved by the Senate. So, sentiment might be picked up based on the fact that it's made it through one of the three steps of the process. Of course, that being the House passing it, the Senate passing it next, and then, of course, the President signing off on it, which he's pushing the package himself, so you can expect that to be done. Our second step is the biggest part because the Senate is split 50-50. And I'm basing that off of, the sentiment that's going to be in the markets. Of course, everybody's been expecting this, so I don't know if everything's already priced into the markets or not, but that's what Sunday will definitely tell you, and Monday morning pre-market, and then how we open. So that's the next three steps after all this is processed and done. I've been actually looking for information throughout this morning on when the Senate is actually expected to pass on the new stimulus, because I wasn't really sure. Here's what's next. CNBC. What do you think about? We just talked about it, Nick. Glad to have you here, bro. So basically, Rolls-Royce is having a pullback due to the pandemic and air traffic being pretty much down 60% still at this point. I think you're able to, somebody told me you're able to actually go back in these live streams and review that. I just don't know what timeline that was. I mean, I think it was like right around an hour on the time frame if you want to review that. One thing I am going to do is at the end of the video for you guys, I'm going to create chapters, and I figured out you could do that on YouTube. Of course, I'm new to YouTube, so I'm going to build out a chapter of the timeline of when we talked about this stock versus the next, so you can skip straight to it. So if you missed it, I'll definitely set that up for you. The House passed Joe Biden's 1.9 trillion early Saturday. I'm looking for when, with the bill bound for Senate 50-50 between Democrats. Democrats are rushing to send the bill to Biden's desk by March 14th. I'm looking for a date. Does anybody have a date that's been listed on when the Senate will be passing or voting on it? That's what I'm currently looking for on the side here. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know that. When will Senate vote on stimulus package? Senate's vote is next. Of course, I know that. I'm looking for the date. Everybody's saying the same thing. It's like, of course, you got to get the same story. Anyways, I'll look for a date for when the Senate's going to pass or conduct their vote, and we'll add that into our calculations for how the market reacts. Of course, I don't think it's going to be this weekend, or I'm not seeing anything that says it is. And they have up until March 14th is when they're trying to get it hitting the ground, basically, and hitting American hands. So this could be, March 1st being Monday. This could be probably like next Friday before you even get a Senate vote on it. And that's even if it passes Senate vote. What's going to really hurt the markets is if the Senate does not pass the vote. Everybody's expecting on what the stimulus is going to do for the market if it's passed, but we also have to consider what is going to happen to the markets if it doesn't. And as we saw, it's already in this downward spiral heading back to that 368 level support, which is really going to weigh down on everything even more, anything you currently hold, but it also provides the opportunity to buy even cheaper. I've never been confident enough to actually price average down because I'm real strict on my risk factors that I put in my plays. If I dedicate a certain amount of money on it, that's what I stick to. I understand the whole, if it drops down, then you price average down to lower your average and then make money on the way back up. But what if it never goes back up? So just think about all the things that you price average down on this week. What if the markets continue to trend downward? Are you just going to keep buying and buying that dip and buying that dip? And then what if, it breaks that 368 level? are you just gonna keep buying and buying? So that's why I don't do many price averages. When I buy a stock at the price that I buy it at, I feel like it's a good entry. Although I know there's potential opportunities for better entries, especially in a market pullback. So that's why I'm kind of holding off on just like what I'm doing currently with it being March 1st. Anyways, I'm re-evaluating my entire portfolio, getting rid of whatever I don't like based on momentum, based on what the business is doing, any updates in the markets and things like that. So like I'm reevaluating the entire portfolio, and that's why I'm not just dumping a whole bunch of money back into it until I meet certain criteria, and that's what I'm looking for. And somebody suggested that I should start basically providing more and more of how I am basing my plays off of and the criteria that I'm looking for. And I mean, it's just overall doing an evaluation of the company that you're putting your money behind. Anyways, you're basically handing your money over to someone else. Check out Buying the Dip song with Meet Kevin. It's my jam. I think didn't they like I think I saw that, dude. I think I saw that. I'll look it up and I'll look at it after this. But Buy the Dip song by, you said Meet Kevin. All right, I got you. I'll definitely look at it. But back to the list. I'm sorry. I know we were supposed to be looking at HTRG price average currently, and that's another thing too. Me and Michael were talking about it the other day, and we wanted to know what you guys thought about how we're looking at these stocks. Like, would you rather us spend a few minutes per stock, or would you like us to go more in depth? If you can let me know your feedback in the chat too. Like, that's something I'm really interested in knowing. HTRG. I'm sorry. You're at a 9. Yeah, I honestly I still need to do more DD on what's going on with the company myself. I just know that a lot of people have interest in it, and I've been trying to cover it as much as possible, along with all the other stocks that we're trying to cover, which is why I got Michael to come help me with like doing DD and stuff like that, so he can kind of collect that information for me, and I can actually present that to you guys while I'm doing my technical analysis. So he's basically working on the DD side, and I'm working on the technical analysis side. We're just having to align those pieces up, and then that's why I wanted to slowly graduate as we're putting this together more and more. And also, like, if anybody's willing to contribute to this in any kind of way, feel free to let me know as well, because I have an entire platform that I've built, but it's been built to go extensively into one. Yeah. Or what if we did this then, Justin Webster? Like, what if we did quick overviews here, and then we identified which ones we want more in-depth analysis on, and I did an individual video to the side of that. What do you think about that? I have my own ideas in place. I'm just wanting your feedback, because that's most important, with you guys being here faithfully almost every day that we do this. But HRTG, you have a average at, where was this at? Really depends on the ticker. Agreed. 997. Let's look at it on the 1 hour. I think I pushed this alert myself, and I think we're pulled back on it as well. I think I was at 10.01. We pushed this through our system at 10.01. It's currently at 971 and down 3%. Do I have faith that it's coming back up? I do. I just think this week was just a crappy week overall. Although it is breaking below that longer term. And I say longer term, this is more, but to get deep would be really good. I like the overview. Okay. So what I'll do is we'll do an overview, and then, have you looked at ZG? I got it last week before your alert. Oh, really? So what I'll do is, we'll have to formulate a plan going into how to actually take care of that. Um, what I can do is I can export this list of coffee and stocks and push it through our web platform, and then you guys can go in and vote which ones that you would like to, have reviewed in a more in-depth analysis that includes technical analysis, fundamental analysis, actual DD on the companies, and just a full portfolio, basically like overview video of these stocks that we can gather on these individual tickers, and that way it's everybody has a chance to participate in their opinion on these stocks and vote up or upvote these stocks. So I'll put something together where we can build that. I'll actually probably add it in our YouTube. Our YouTube section of the mobile app that I'm building. For the most part, the mobile app's going to be free unless you're trying to access premium information and stuff like that. And how I have it built, it's already based on the membership you purchase, so that'll be easy to do. But as I develop that, I expect to have the mobile app out on Android or on Google Play like Monday, Tuesday. I'm pushing it to them to put on the Play Store Monday, Tuesday. Hopefully it's there by Friday, because I know there's a time frame they have to review the app and so on and so forth. The app's actually there already. I'm doing the new version of it, and that's why I'm not pushing it right now. But I can build something on there while we're watching these. You can hop on that app real quick and just upvote a certain stock based on the list, and that'll let me know where, in that day I can go in and actually do a full overview. If you could highlight like 3 to 5, if you could select 3 to 5 to highlight. You pre-push during CNS. What are you referring to, Justin Weber? I pre-push during CNS. And then have you looked at Zillow? ZG. I like the idea of Zillow, actually, because the one thing to gauge this one is basically the housing reports, the housing sale reports that come out every month, and understanding the growth in those markets. I think the last time I saw the housing report numbers, they were actually a little bit lower than expected, but for the most part, we didn't really see that sector do too bad in the pandemic, during the pandemic. And as you can see, ZG in itself, I want to say I use Zillow to buy the house that I have now, that we live in now. I like the app and how it works. I think it's at a lower end price point with the market pullback from this week, giving you a great opportunity to get into the stock. I like the idea of it because I don't see it ever stopping it. Me as a previous customer, I expect to be a return customer if I ever am looking for a house to buy for myself or anyone else and suggesting houses. So I'm just trying to look at it from a consumer basis and then a business aspect at the same time and see how they correlate. And that's also another way I make my determinations, just to add that to the list of things that I use, like in making determinations. With this, it's currently in this ascending channel that you see right here. This is a great opportunity to utilize options. You said I might push this HDR as my daily alert in the morning. Oh yeah, I did. I think I did that day, and it was at $10. But I think that day was the 22nd, so it was the beginning of the week. What? Okay. Give me a second. And I ended up pushing it that day, and then of course the market pulled back for the rest of the week. So pretty much anything that I pushed out in February has been slaughtered. But fortunately, my portfolio did so well that it would take an honest market crash to kill my price average. I'm pretty sure it went from like 68% averaging on some of these trade alerts to probably like 40-50%. I'm gonna start closing. Like I said, I'm reevaluating the portfolio altogether. I'm gonna start closing out some of these that we were holding longer term that are pulling back, and then I'm doing re-entry alerts for ones that actually are swinging. and allowing traders to re-enter into them that may have missed the alerts or didn't think they were going to do so well when we initially alerted on them, so on and so forth. But they're actually built in new opportunities to get back into the plays that have done it so well, and then closing out anything else that's just completely losing momentum based on what's going on in markets. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure who has who on this list or who in this group of people that's here with us today actually has a premium membership, but our portfolio is done pretty well for the most part, up until these past few weeks, starting from the week of like the what was that, the 15th or 16th, and the market's been pulling back. And we've done pretty amazing, and like it surprises me how well the system works. Since we wrapped up all the stocks that you guys wanted to add to the list, I said the last thing we were going to do is we were going to apply my scanner to these liquidity stocks that I brought up at the beginning of the live stream, and see if we can pinpoint some swing trades out of that moving forward into the week. So it's going to be a small process for me to do. I'm going to pull some of this down and this down. We're going to go over here to my scanner, and we are going to where is it? It's the 4 hour here. We're going to focus strictly on those liquidity stocks. See if anything pops up for us. So, pull out of here. United Health Group. I would option trade this. I would actually. So what I would do is, of course, identify our key levels. This is a larger stock, so I'm looking all the way from the monthly down to the weekly to identify my key levels on something this large, because large price points provide higher volatility, in my opinion. With some of these, it can pull back very heavily, is what I'm saying. So you have to be careful with it. And another level that sticks out to me is right here. So this is a strong buy zone for a long-term hold on the stock. But what I'm looking at is a potential call option on this to 367. And I think there's something I need to adjust with my scanner system before we use it again, before we look back at it. So I would basically be comfortable with buying like a 3-month call option on UNH, basically saying by June that the stock's going to be back at 367, and I will hold on to that as long as the markets begin to correct. Question is, let's pull up our scanner, our trading. Let's pull this up real quick. Detach that. UNH. No, that's not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is. Oh, it's not. UNH. Give me just a second. I actually opened up the wrong thing. I need my option chain. And so I'm learning not to trade weeklies for one, but like I said, monthly option. And I said that it was going to go to 367. You're looking at paying around $900 for, or actually, yeah, about $900 on this trade. But so I would push it out maybe to like 400, where I could pay like 375 or maybe 410. But one thing that stands out about this 640 option is the fact that we have a lot of open interest, and that's what we want to look for, is the open interest, because that's how many open interest in options means how many people actually own this particular contract. And as you can see, like, this is big investor money right here, paying $1,200 per contract for this. But if you were to go even back to April, which is a month beyond our time frame, we have a low theta. Theta is the amount of money you lose per day per contract, and there's 100. Uh, uh, there's a For every contract you have to multiply these numbers by 100. So this would actually be telling me that I would lose $6 a day up until this expiration date, and then you have your gamma, which tells you how much that fluctuates up and down, or up for theta. Anyways, back to what I'm focused on is open interest. Open interest means that there's a lot of people holding these contracts, so it's easier for you to sell it if it has a higher open interest in the stock. Of course, if you go closer and closer to these expiration dates that you see right here, you're going to see lower and lower price points. So with this being a higher end, a higher underlying value, meaning the stock price is, in the 300s, your option contracts are going to be pretty expensive. I could actually go on a 20-day spread for March 19th, but the issue with that is I'm not looking forward to hit 367 until almost a week later. So I could actually go into Monday, and I would probably look at buying this one right here. And for every dollar it goes up, I get $12, and that's $30. So we're looking at, why can I do math in my head right now? That's what, $360 I could just win off that one contract that I paid $150 for, just off the delta, or for every dollar it goes up. And if it hits and goes beyond that, then you'll start seeing these are in the money calls. I could be making $55 for every dollar beyond 360. And I'm saying that it's going to 370, so that's an additional $200 or actually another additional $350. So we're looking at like a $700 play potentially, and this is all in my head too. I'm not being specific about it. I'm just rounding off on the top of my head. I'm looking at making a $53 investment. You got to add your 60 cents for the contract, so $153.60 in order to make potentially around $600 to $700 on the hold for 21 days. So something I'm definitely going to put on the list to watch with this option play, and have you guys track that. Are you still in on Gaxi and RSSV? Gaxi and RSSV? I don't think we ever had that position open. Gaxi, RSSV. Are you asking me, Nick, or somebody else? Because I don't think we ever had those. But I will add it to the list. Yeah, I typically don't do anything under 25 cents a share. I'm not saying it's a bad idea to. I've seen some people make some great money. You see like $2,000-3,000% gains in some of these. But I will definitely add it to the list since you brought it up. These are all OTCs. Yeah. So something that stands out to me is right here, because it played resistance and it had to break above that level before. It needed to find support. It didn't. When you get a chance, what do you think about PLTR? I'm in on $24, thinking about selling it if it bounces up to 28. So you're looking at a 10 to 20% swing trade on this, is what you're talking about, J-Dub? On PLTR? I think it actually has some strong momentum to the upside. I think you can actually capture even more than that. I think what you're referring to is, we'll look back at it in a minute, is some of the sideways channels that these are forming. But Nick, you have a great potential to make 8 cents for every share basically 8 cents for every share, and you can buy. Buying power on these lower penny stocks are easy, but the volatility and risk factor are also higher on these. So it's a higher risk, higher reward with penny stocks, in my opinion, and they can move in whatever direction they want to because people can move them so easily. So just be careful with these. I will identify these levels for you, though, so you know what to pay attention to moving forward. And then Gaxi. This looks like it had some pretty good movement here recently. Um, it actually landed on that 34 or 0.035 price level, 3.5 cents level. Excuse me. And we're at, so I mean, it's jumped 100%. It's easy to make 100% off of this if it continues to find the support above here, but it also looks like it pulled just as much backwards. So this is where the risk factor comes into these, and it's concerning. And actually, it could drop much harder than that. It's this level right here. 1 penny. I mean, this would drop 300% pretty easily. So be careful with it. That's why I don't mess with them, because you can go up 1,000%. You can come down 1,000% on them as well. PLRT. Looks like my daughter's getting upset with me not being in there with her. You bought in at 24. Looking forward to bounce to that $28 level that we identified, and the 30 to get out. I think that'd be a good swing play on it, but like I said, I think it's longer term. You could actually hold on. Yeah, it is. Her legs are cold. I need to get her a blanket. Hey, will you give me that blue blanket for her on this couch over here? Are you bringing that blue blanket that's over there? She can come sit with me. She can come sit with me. It should be behind the couch. It's that light blue one. Them legs are cold, girl. I would do an option on PLTR. Let's cover up them legs. Them chunky legs. Chunky monkey legs, girl. Got them chunky monkeys. Yeah. Yeah. You want my phone? There you go. But I would actually do an option on PLTR, because you're able to make more off an option than you would be off holding an equity stake right now. And reason I say that, J-Dub, is because let's look at the option chain on it, and I'll point something out to you. This is a short-term thing, but options are pretty nice. How many shares do you own, J-Dub, of PLTR? 2 is the next question. So, and then I can do some small calculations on it for you and show you the price comparison versus holding an equity stake and an option play. And go from there. Equity share. Did she what? What'd you say? Yeah, that's what she was telling me. J-Dub, how many shares do you own of PLTR, so I can do a quick average and we can keep moving forward? I'm doing some other stuff on the side regarding the options trade to get ahead of it. 211 shares. All right, cool. $24 at 211 at $24. That is, and if it goes to 28, just give me a quick second, because I want to do no, I'm not gonna do that, girl. Give me a second, y'all. So if it goes to 28, overall you will get about 900 on the play, from what I'm seeing. $844 to be exact, if you were to sell at $28. Now, what I want to point out to you is if we do an option contract on this 20 days out, I think it's going to go back to 28 within 20 days for sure. Veda, you have my phone. What do you want, baby? What else can I do for you? There you go. Here. But what I want to point out is, if we were to buy a March 20, oh, there you go. What is it? What is it? You getting tired of Daddy doing this? Or you're getting sleepy. That's what it is. There you go. But if I were to buy this $28 call, it cost me $135, right? And it looks like you spent $5,000 on it, so I'm not even gonna allude to buying $5,000 worth of option contracts on some of these. But Theta is currently where are we at? I'm trying to find it. I need to highlight it. Right there. So Theta is $35 for every dollar it goes up. And then I need to customize this to add in my Vega and my Gamma. So something like that. For every dollar it goes up, that $35 jumps up 6 cents. So 0.6 or $6 rather. And then we don't get to that until 3, 4, 7, 7, 7, 7. Alright. So this is what I'm gonna do. And I'll share this with you once I got it done. I just want to be sure. No, I'm doing this wrong. One-handed too, by the way, so taking a little bit longer. What, Pud? Theta. What? What is it? Alright. It's currently sitting at... Probably gonna have to wrap up here, guys. She's getting irritated. Sleepy is what it is. Oh yeah. Probably pass out in my arms here in a second. Currently trading at $24 right now. 25, 26, 27, 28. So all of these $268 if you were to buy 4 contracts. Seems like would be the key here. Would be that. No. In order to make the same amount of money as what I'm trying to establish here for you by using options, and that times 3. Oh, girl. What? You sleepy? You sleepy? Actually, 135. So, you could spend almost... What I'll do is I'll bring this over here so you can see. Pull this up here. Sorry guys, it's taking a little bit longer than I expected. Open a new sheet here on this. So, put in Hey Bailey, can you come here real quick? She has another bottle in the room. Can you put like 4 ounces of water in there and 2 scoops? In our room. Can you put 4 ounces of water with 2 scoops in it for me? Alright, so what I want to point out to you, the difference in stocks, buying equity stakes, and options, and how you can risk less money to make the same amount of profits. That's what I'm trying to identify here. So, what I did was I did your current position. If you have it at $24 at 211 shares, Veda, girl, she's sleepy. Anyways, if you were what? 2 and 4 ounces of water. So it costs you $5,064 to buy those $24 a share. Those 211 shares at $24 a share. And you're looking at selling this at $28. You'd make a profit of $844. Not a bad play. But with these option contracts, you could buy 3.14. So if we rounded it down, three of these option contracts for what is that? $425. Mike, is that Michael Phelps or somebody else? Looks like someone new here, but Veda. Thank you, Veda. Here. Girl. Fussy when she's hungry, of course. But, so this is our option breakdown as we traverse back to $28. You can make $268 per contract just based off of the delta and the gamma on it. And you would need 3 of those contracts in order to make the same amount of money here. And that was... Did my formulas not go through? 3 of those contracts. Oh, yeah. So how I calculated that was I divided how much profit I could potentially make per contract by what you would make the same off of just holding an equity stake. And that gave me this 314 area right here. Let me pull this up a little bit for you. Zoom in, do it. Okay. And I'll get my face out of the way. Alright, there we go. So I took the same cost, or the same profits that we're shooting for. This is our green. I divided by the profits we can make per contract if it went to the same price point. And then I determined how many of those contracts I would need to buy. And then I calculated how much that would cost me versus risking $5,000. I could pay $425 and make the same amount of profit on options. Does that make sense? And I calculated this by... and then taking... this is actually 12 times less what it would cost to make the same amount of profit using options versus an equity stake. Now, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because we expect one of 2 things. One of 3 things. The market's going to continue to tank, it's going to churn sideways, or it's actually going to reverse. And, of course, we have stimulus coming out and things of that nature. But, of course, the Senate still has to pass it, and it's not expected to hit the ground until the 14th. We don't even know if the stimulus package is already priced into the market. That's another thing to consider. But if we trend downwards or we trade sideways, what we would want to do in this play is trade sideways so that we could catch it on the bounce to $28 and then have it rebound on us so that we could put that same $844 of free money and create free shares at that $25 level. Now you got 35 shares that you can hold on to forever. This could actually go back up to $39, $39.21. If this goes up to $30, this is why I did these second bars here, because you would actually make a total of $423 a share, and would only require you to have 2 of these shares. Does that make sense on why I find options more valuable than actually holding equity shares? Of course, they are riskier because anything to the downside can result in the same effect, but it's more valuable to me because of the fact that here I'm risking, I'm going to turn this red, $564 versus my risk of $425. Now, if I did hit $30 on my option contracts, we also have to understand that we would actually make an additional $400 in profits, a little bit more than that actually, in straight profits if we hit 30. So then we could take that same number and we could try to recapture it on the low end again, and it would actually give us 55 shares into the stock. And then you can hold this long term however you want to. If that makes any sense. I'm not sure if you're still here with us, J-Dub, or not, but I'm actually going to play this out myself. I'm going to go ahead and buy 3 contracts on 135 come Monday. I want to make sure that don't just buy it straight into market open either. See how the stocks will react in the market open. I want everybody to always remember that, but see how it reacts to market open and see if you can find not only your equity shares at a lower price point, but also your option prices. And I'm gonna go into this expecting to pay about $425 for 3 of these contracts. For my contracts are going to be for March 21st, 2021. Now, honestly, I could spend an additional $210 to buy the same contracts, same strike contract for a longer time frame and lower my theta. Theta is the amount of dollars you lose per day, which in comparison, what would make that determination for me is how much different is it. So honestly, I'm only losing $2 more in theta on these March 19 calls, and my delta's at 35, which means I make more per dollar as it goes up. Versus, see, this looks more sweet because I make more per dollar it goes up for less that I lose every day. So I'm honestly considering, haven't learned options. Thanks so much for the info. I'm becoming a premium member for. All right. So I'm actually considering buying these April ones versus the March ones, for the simple fact that the theta is $2 lower, so I'm losing less money per day while I wait for this to occur. And I'm making more per dollar that it goes up. So that would change the entire dynamic of our option trades and potential profit gains for less money on the risk side. So if I were to recalculate all of this, it would be 38. This would be this plus that, and this is actually am I doing that right? Let me see if I'm doing this right. I think I did that wrong. I did do that wrong, didn't I? No, I didn't. No, I think this is 38. Yeah, I see what it is. Okay, I see how I did it. Vega, the gamma is lower though, so you earn less per dollar up to the other side. That's what it was. Okay, and it doesn't change at all on these April. It's just constant $4. So there. So same setup. The option contract is 208 though. So this is the difference in me buying a longer term contract, is that it does cut into my profits, but I'm not losing money I'm losing less money the longer I have to wait. So I'm gonna debate on that a little bit. I might buy one of each. I might buy a March one, and then I might buy. What I'll do, just to run a test on this for you all, I'll buy 3 March contracts and I'll buy 3 April contracts, and I'll see which one does better, as long as we hit $28 and as long as we hit $30, and we'll gauge them moving forward. And that's going to be about $700 we're putting at risk right there. This is actually multiplied by the number of contracts that I would need to buy. Yeah, I didn't add in my freaking formulas for some reason when I pasted this over here. So let me do that the right way. But this is what we're going to start looking at next, is basically finding the right options that allow us to invest less money for the same profit margins, and actually allows you to get these profits in a much smaller time frame in some areas. So give me a second, because it's not adding in all the calculations I did over here and stuff like that, and that's really irritating to me. So this times option contract price 655. This is actually $208 per contract. So 655 is what I would have to risk. I'm still almost, well under 7 times less than what I'm paying. And then this is determined by that divided by this. So I mean, we're still at, and that has to be calculated based on sum of all of this. Actually here. So 250. I'd still only have to buy 3 or 4 contracts to, nearly make the same amount of profits, but for far less money, if that makes sense. So just wanted to share that with you guys. If do y'all have any questions about options that you would like to focus on first? I can go through the whole breakdown. We can identify key definitions and how they make a difference in how option contracts risk are evaluated, how profit margins are evaluated, and stuff like that. But has anybody here actually bought options before? If you can let me know in the chat, and also how well you did in buying options. If you did well, or if you did, if it didn't work out for you, let me know that as well. As you can see, she is well asleep now. She tends to do that. So she'll be hanging out with me for the rest of the morning as this, which actually bought me time to look at this some more. And while I'm waiting for you guys to answer in the comments, I am going to be going back over what I said we were going to do earlier, and that is looking at my my scanner to find potential opportunities and the liquidity stocks that we identified at the beginning of the video, of the live stream. And I actually reshaped up my entire scanning system based on what has occurred here in the past week or so. Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. We're okay. So I'll be doing this one-handed, of course, moving forward. So it might take me a little bit longer time to get around. I think I already did. I think the liquidity scanner already has. Let me look over here. Liquidity scanner doesn't have any price points. It should have, though, because we were looking at it. Weird. Let me do this. Let me add one. Yeah, because we were looking at like 300. Well, actually, yeah. Give me a second. Make some changes here. Scan. Actually, we're going to do percent change. No, we don't even have to do all that. We just need to focus on the money. Let the money be there. And the scanning system will find it for us on the buying opportunities. Liquidity scanner. Yes. Liquidity scanner. Okay. Let's do this first. See what happens. Nothing shows up. So let's go back in on the 1 hour. Hit the same one. Liquidity scanner. Alright, we got 6 plays that come into play here. A, B, and B. That's Airbnb, FSR, Twitter, Etsy, MU, and UNH, of course, which showed up before. I can top this down, and I'm not sure if it will skim out some of those a little bit better for us. So, This is based on momentum swings to the upside on a 30-minute time frame. Is what we're looking at here. I want. So quick question: did the membership, but the $69 per month and $10 a day trial are overlapping and dedicated? So, what's going to happen is with our premium memberships, we give you 7 days to try it out for $10. Okay. Once those 7 days is up, if you continue to like it and you want to keep moving forward, that's when you get charged the remaining $59 for the remaining 23 days. And then from there, it charges you the full $69 membership moving forward. That gives you kind of an opportunity to see what we're doing here. So it's a $10 7-day trial. Once that 7-day trial is over and you want to keep moving forward, then that's when you pay the rest of your membership for the rest of the month. And then you pay your $69 moving forward. Okay? Hope that answered your questions. But as you can see, Plug hit our scanner. We've been talking about Plug. I haven't been talking much about Etsy. It's the larger stock. We haven't talked about Micron Technology, which actually is in the spotlight now with the executive order that Biden just pushed out on semiconductors. And I think Micron is a part of that group. Last I know, I think they build like semiconductor chips and stuff like that. So there's a large push in that area. We can look at where it's currently sitting at. It might be cheap based on the market pullbacks, and looks like it's still pushing heavy due to the fact that the Biden administration is pushing this. So what I would do is look at this from the weekly. It's already blown up. Where got you. And there's something else I'll talk to you about too. We have a referral program. So any member that you refer to the platform, we split half the memberships with everybody, because it's not about the money for us. It's just the fact that this costs me money to do, and it takes up a lot of my time from my original business. So if I'm going to be doing this, then that's the only reason I require anything as far as payments for the information I provide, is because it does take a lot of my time. And you got to think about it. Right now, we're putting together a trading team, but as of right now, I'm currently doing all of the trade alerts. I'm doing all of the marketing. I'm doing all of the YouTube videos, the editing, the customer support, the mobile app build. So yeah, this thing is actually building to be worthwhile in the long run. I have a lot of faith in what we're doing here, so I'm fully dedicated to it. And of course I trade and stuff like that, but this is taken away from my trading. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm gonna be doing this, that's all I ask for, But back to my point, we have a referral program that you can basically refer 2 memberships, and your membership's free, and you can keep adding to that, and actually make income yourself every month. And the tracking system trades everything. You get referral links, and you have to make sure the person signs up based on your referral. If you have any issues, you can always hit us up. Let me know that, hey, I referred this person. He didn't go to the right link. I'll give you that credit, man, because it's not about just collecting money out of people's pockets. It's about a handoff. I give you great information. If you pay $69 a month, I expect you to make more than $69 on some of these trades. But anyways, going back into the trading, the scanner, as you can see, right, and that's what it's about. Like, if there's anything you want to do to help the platform build, I will split more memberships with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more the merrier. Nothing great ever happens without a team. I want to say that first and foremost. FSR though, hit the list. Plug, hit the list. Those are 2 I would focus on potentially getting an equity stake in. And then anything above $50, I'm typically looking for options. Of course, we've had a lot of these EVs sitting around $30, $40, $50. I'll do options on those, because I expect them to get back above $50. But anything above $50 takes away from the equity share power that you can buy versus just doing an option and making the same amount of profits that you're going after. Eventually, using options to then, a strategy I've been alluding to with you guys is using options to buy longer term equity stakes for longer term holds, for free. So basically, it's just like you referring somebody to Webull and you get a free share of something. I'm trying to create my own free shares. If there's something that I want to hold forever or for just a longer period of time, I will do options on it until I make enough profits to buy a free share, and then I'll let it go. I never touch that share again. And if it's above $50, I'm never gonna. I can easily look at my portfolio and say, oh no, this is one of my long-term holds, or I can create another account and just slide all my long-term holds over there and stuff like that. And so that's how I'm playing it. And even with these smaller stocks between like 25 or 20, or I would say $15 to $50, even same theory that I'm trying to go after here is basically options on the way up, gain those free profits. Even if it goes up, and that's something that somebody's asked me, is like, if you're doing an option call saying that a stock price is going to go up, and then you're going to buy the equity stake at the peak of it, you're risking that profit. But one, I have faith that it's going to keep going up. I've just accumulated enough profits to buy, a share in it. And then two, if I sell my option, that most likely means that I'm expecting a reversal to come into play for me to buy a better entry at the low end. Hopefully that makes sense so people can understand what I mean by using options to acquire free shares. Now, a second step that you can do after it peaks out of the top is buy a put option to where it's going to drop down and make money on the way down too. And then you have more money to put into the actual equity stake. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not saying it's always going to work. I'm not going to say I'm always going to have the best entries in some of these stocks, so on and so forth. But for the most part, I'm only doing this on long-term equity stake holds that I'm interested in keeping for years, just based on what's going on with the companies until, I just lose faith for whatever reason. But what do you guys think about a strategy like that? Feel free to give me your feedback in the chat. And if you have any questions about it, I will be pushing out that strategy to our premium members moving forward. And we will be building a tracking system built specifically for that strategy, because I will be doing it myself. Anything I'm doing for myself, I have the ability to share with all of our members. So definitely a premium service though, because it's very it takes a lot of energy to keep up with all those fundamentals and stuff like that behind those types of trading strategies. But other than that, currently looking at this, and what I'll do for everyone that joined us today is I'm going to scan the entire market with my scanner, and we're going to see what pops up, and we're going to look at it for a little bit, and then I'm probably going to wrap this up in the next 15 minutes or so. So we're hitting the whole market right now. You can see most of this stuff is pretty green. I'm going to minimize it to our 25. Oh, well, actually, it should be our last should be 25. We'll do 50 here. Focusing where the money's going. So let's look at some of these setups. Let me make sure my scanner's right too, though. Let's look at it on the 4-hour first. That's what we'll do. Load. Thank you. Based on money. So as you can see, some of the stocks that we were looking at this morning are actually showing back up in the same type of scan. And what it's looking for is, on the 4-hour chart, what I'm looking for and trying to optimize this scanner is actually not working right based on what I'm looking at, because I'm using the wrong scanner. That's what that's telling me. I just bought my first put on SOS yesterday. Ooh, I don't know about that, bro. SOS? You bought a put on SOS? Put it in the chat why you felt like a put was better than a call in this position. You think it's still going down? I think, is SOS a crypto play, or I can't remember what SOS was. I'll look it up on the side while I'm reconfiguring this alert system. First, let's do this. Let's do it right. 4-hour scan. Okay. 1 hour. So what I do is I have a scanner on the 4-hour, scans the entire market, looks for a certain criteria. Then on the 1 hour, I scan it even deeper. and it gives me a list. And then I have another scanner that scans that 1 hour scanner to look for the momentum swing in it. But we'll stay right here for now. And we'll look at some of these based on, and then they're sorted by the amount of liquidity going into the stocks on the last day. So CGIX is one. Look at that setup. This is what we're looking to identify. It's potential launch setups. And of course I go through here and I do my analysis like we have always done and will continue to. And of course, it looks like the launch pad was actually out to 587. So it looks like we're already in the process of doing that. But if I was looking at this stock ahead of time, I would have been able to identify these key levels, and I could have actually caught it on this blue uptick right here. And these blue upticks that you see on my candles are once the stock price actually starts trading above the EMAs, it alerts me that the EMA is beginning to cross over, or the price is actually going above the EMAs. But this yellow spike right here is showing me that the actual EMA is conducting a crossover back to the upside. So CGIX, definitely something to watch going into, and I'm going to make another coffee and stocks list for us, basically focused on the ones that I've recommended to you guys. I'll go back through this video and make sure that I added the other ones that we talked about earlier this morning. But I need to create a new list, so I'll call this the recommended and reward list or something like that. Coffee and stocks, recommended. Okay, so CGIX. Let's watch how it plays in going into. I thought it was a fraud company before any of the hit pieces came out. Oh, gotcha. And you just bought the, it's at a reason I asked Justin is because it's at a very low price point and hitting a very large platform to skyrocket back to the upside, depending on what the markets do. If the markets go down, it will continue to compress downward, and you should be safe, but, make sure the markets are going down, because that's what you're going to need in that. Another one to look at, CHS, Chico's, FAS, I don't know what that is, but some of these I don't know anything about, but of course we go through these and we do our DD, our fundamental analysis, our actual DD behind the stock. Before I even waste time on DD for stocks, I look at how their fundamentals are. I check the chart, I do the fundamentals, then I do DD to justify what I'm looking at and how I feel, my sentiment on the stock. Looks like we got a potential 10% swing back to the upside, although it broke out on us. Let's look at it on the daily though, and reset my chart because it's looking weird. As you can see, this is a strong upticks since November, but this is the range that I'm looking at. That's all that matters. And when you look at it from the 4 hour, it looks a lot better. All right, so let's identify our swings here. Looks like that was a key level. Oh, a straight line or something, I don't know. Anyways, horizontal right there, 293 key level, long-term trend. Look at that, somewhere around here. I would actually point it here to see how it played. It looks like a very strong compression zone to the upside, so I'm interested in the stock. This is CHS, and I haven't even looked at fundamentals on these companies yet, but I'm just highly interested off the technical analysis that I'm doing right now. Because we could actually see this jump to 336. We can actually see this hit 324 and rebound to the downside, or we can see this go back to 430. And we're going to go ahead and identify some of those levels now. As we move forward, I'm going to turn this one red because that's my high line, but I want to see how it reacts to this 324 ultimately, because it looks like it tried to before and caught some rejections. And then I'll turn that one orange. So we'll watch that one. NDRA, something I'll be watching. Of course, I will say that I'm watching something, but until I push it through the alert system, do not take that I'm watching it as a suggestion to buy it. Just because I said that, I saw something like that last week, and I was a little concerned. Like, no, slow down a little bit. just because we're looking at it. Um, in our coffee and stock sessions, remember, we initially were focused on stocks that you wanted to watch, and I was just basically telling you, if I was going to play this, this is how I would play it. I would watch for it to do this or that and that, and then I'd look for my potential position in it. But another one, compressions. We're seeing compressions to the ascending to finally bounce out. And you're looking at something like off of this, like that. You know what I mean? So, and then taking into account when you're in this compression zone, you also need to pull back and see how this price action has how the stock has reacted to it before. So this could jump near what is that, 80 cents? That's well over 70, am I doing that right? 25 cents, about 30%. Easy. Something I'm gonna add it to the list. I'm only looking for, on my swing trades, I'm looking for 10-20%. 10-20% in and out. As soon as we hit that 10-20%, unless it's running and we're seeing signals, which I'll show you how we move through our signaling and why some of our trade alerts are just open and we don't even touch them because we just let them run. Of course, like I said, we have to reshape everything we did this past month because of what's going on currently with the markets and getting zapped. Key level here on MOV, currently 21.26. Looks like we're finding support above it. It's retraced. One thing I said to make sure with these companies that took dips back in March, which pretty much everything did, is how well they recovered within the past year. And it's not even March yet. This stock is already finding support above that 21.26 to continue moving higher, bouncing strongly off of it too, by the way. I'd like to point out 4 hour to look at our longer term trend that we've been trading in. Boom and boom. So riding right along that strong trend line right there. As long as it stays above that, we should continue moving to the upside. I'm going to add it to the list. Just because everything shows up on the watch list, it may seem like I'm adding everything, but I'm actually going through and verifying it based off of the trend analysis first to even meet the criteria of paying attention to it moving forward. But this is what my scanner does. It finds me these opportunities to some of these are before the run, some of them are after a run, and it's consolidated and showing signals to the upside, so on and so forth. But really, the key ones that I've been looking for are the ones that are before it ever ran, typically coming off some type of consolidation for whatever reason or so. So this one I'm not too interested in. So high already, and the top lines are a little bit lower, so your percent gains are teeter-tottering around 10-20% is fine. It meets the criteria of what we're going after here. But I'm going to pull this one back out, actually. That's what I'm going to focus on. I would need to see how, like, if I got into it now and watch how it reacted to the 263 if it didn't bounce up and break through and started to show rejections to the downside, then I'll get out of it real quick. And see how it reacts back at that 218 and find another potential. Then you can do 10-20% swings in and out of them. I made money on it. It's run up, but after they did the second offering, I got suspicious. And after they released the pick of their miners and the wire jungle, that's on SOS, Justin. Because now you got me interested just in the story behind the company and following it moving forward. Let's see. But that was what, 5 of them we looked at. So there's 5 stocks for you going into next week. We're about to hit 2 hours and 30 minutes. So 30 minutes over what I always expect, but I enjoy doing this. So anybody got any questions, any stocks that you want to add to the list that we can watch going into? If we're not able to review it before the next 2 minutes, I can always do it on the side. Also, if there is we were speaking about doing more in-depth reviews on some of these stocks earlier. You can always come back to this live recording and add it in the comments, and then I'll go in and do individual videos as we move forward with more in-depth information such as technical analysis, fundamental analysis, DD, and expectations, and how to actually play it. NXPI. Taron, are you new here? I don't think I've seen you, and thank you for being here, by the way. semiconductor manufacturer apparently. It's pretty high too, so I would play this on option sides versus. I don't know if you're looking at this NXPI as a long-term hold or not. I would play the options on it in order to make profits off of it, and I tell my profits by my P&L a year. If that equals one share of this, then I'll go buy one share and let it sit. But that's just my strategy. It doesn't have to be yours. Yes, long-term hold. Okay. Typically look at those, or you're new here, one of the two. But typically look at these from a longer time frame. Like I said, anything dealing with semiconductors. All right, Justin, I'm definitely gonna be looking into that a little bit more because that sounds strange as hell, honestly. But typically watch these on the longer time frames to find their long-term growth patterns. Looks like this is pretty strong trading in this ascending channel, as you would call it, and you can identify that by copying that original trend and seeing how it matches up. And it actually matches up pretty well right there, so I'll keep it there. That's the high end of the channel. Currently on the low end because, of course, there's a market pullback. People are alluding to a crash, but I just think it's a simple pullback. I've been saying 363 for some time now. This could actually play as a three-prong channel in this area right here to give you some more. If we break above this channel right here, what they call a pitchfork. If we break above that channel, then you can expect the range that it will play in on its slow growth movement to the upside. Good play here, in my opinion. Could potentially go back up to 220, 240, but we had to break above that $200 price level first, which has seemed to play a longer term all-time high for it. See how it reacts to that 200. And see if we can set new all-time highs about the 220s and stuff. But I'm as long as the Biden administration is in office is how long I would hold this, because they're actually doing something about the semiconductor shortage that we have been plagued with for the past few years. Me being a business owner of a networking, telecommunications, and security company, I understand the issues that have been caused by shortages in semiconductors, because we haven't been able to actually supply our customers with the number of PCs that they want, especially if they're buying over 100, 200 PCs. We expect that to take so much longer in a simple project. And some of our customers use like 12 to 1400 PC refreshes that we've experienced before. So in a project like that, you see how this semiconductor plague is really causing issues in growth in larger enterprise businesses. And that's just coming from a business owner standpoint. So semiconductors are a key thing that I feel like we should have addressed a long time ago when it first started. It should have immediately been corrected, because semiconductors go into cars, planes, machines, and all in general. So definitely a good play here. I'm gonna add it to our list to keep tracking it and see how it correlates with our horizontal price ranges that it's currently trading in. I think it's a great buy zone right now. You're buying it for cheap, riding right above that support level at the 183, or right below it actually, but not too far. But great opportunity to buy in it on the lower end of this ascending triangle as it tops out, even if you were wanting to hold this long term. What I would look for if you buy it right now is to make sure that it sits above the 200, finding support above it, and then you can let it run free. It's free willy for the rest of its days. So I'm going to add that to our EV plays for sure, though. And then we just crossed the 230 mark. I'll look at MCHP before we call it a day. But if you haven't already, at least register your free membership. It's not going to give you access to any of our trade alerts or anything like that. But it does give you access to our due diligence and any announcements that we're making for the platform overall. That's the most important part. And also, I'm going to share, I will share the link for that here, and I will share I want everybody to connect with me on Facebook, so that I can add you to our free trading chat room on Facebook. That way you can talk to us directly. And also, our links are in the description of this video as well for all of our social media networks. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Discord community with Investors Talk. Everybody may or may not know about that. And then, of course, StockTwits. and TradingView. I don't have my TradingView link in there though. Also, if you want any of these charts, feel free to go through the video and pinpoint the ones you want, and I will publish them on TradingView and send you a copy of it, where you can make your own copy and continue following the trades yourself. Of course, we will be continuing to follow them throughout our coffee and stock sessions moving forward. Really happy with what we're doing here while I'm doing this to the side. Really happy with what's developing of our coffee and stocks here at Millennial Investments. The turnout that we're getting and slowly growing. I know it's slowly growing. I'm new to YouTube. I didn't expect to come into this and just blow up or anything like that. And I'm not looking to blow up. It's all about the community. It's all about pitching in and offering something to basically giving back to what you're taking from is the ultimate goal here. So I just sent you my Facebook link as well at the bottom, the membership link. If you're on Discord, if you're on Facebook, hit me up regardless, so that we can connect and continue talking on some of these stocks. The last stock we were going to look at was MCHP. Sorry it's taking a little bit longer. Like I said, I'm doing this one-handed. Let's see. All right, same scenario with this one. As NXPI, any semiconductor manufacturer is gold right now, with the funds that they're dumping into the stocks, into the companies, and it's not only about the fact that they're dumping money into it. Overall, it's required for continued growth in our economy. So this should have been addressed when it started, and the fact that it is being addressed, I give applause to the Biden administration for focusing solely on that, because innovation depends on it. So, looks like somebody's waking up though. Look for this if you buy into it now. Great buying price on the bottom end of the trend line. Look for it to it correlates with NXPI, so have the same expectations, but make sure that we break above that 162 and you can let this continue going for you. But if even on NXPI, if we find resistance at that 200 support level, then watch out, as it may have issues. I'm looking to clone this. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. Sorry. So here's our channel right here to watch for. You may have identified this already on your own. I'm gonna put it right there. When creating your channels, it's all about where the price point meets that channel, whether it's sideways or up and down. So that's it for today, guys. I appreciate you all for watching. I appreciate you all for joining. I love the support. Love this love that I'm getting back from what we're doing here. Taking time out of your weekend, time out of your mornings every morning to continue doing this and help grow this platform. Spreading the word is all I can actually do right now. As far as sharing these videos as we release them, I'm going to start doing schedule events so that people can kind of prepare for the next event as we go, but also share that and allow other people to be aware of it before it happens. And that way when it does, once we do go live, people can hop in with us. I'm also going to be doing daily playlists. I'm not sure if everybody was here to hear me yesterday. I will be doing daily playlists, including our coffee and stock sessions, our daily reviews, and any other piece of information that we may release on the channel that day into one playlist. That way I can share one link and you can as well, and people can just go through it and just let it run. You can almost look at it as a podcast, unless there's something that catches your attention you necessarily want to look at. So other than that, if there's any questions or feedback, feel free to drop it in the comments below after this is published, and I'll be quick to answer that. Or even better, you can connect with me directly on Facebook right now, and I can add you to the free live trading chat, live chat room, excuse me. And you can ask me all your questions there as well when we're not on live stream. So other than that, I hope this information was beneficial for you in some sort of way in getting prepared for the week and potential opportunities that we can optimize. Even with this market pullback, I don't necessarily think it's a crash. Some of you may have joined in late, but I've been alluding to the fact that we could pull back to 368. But we need to watch how we react to the 374 first. That's a very strong previous level of resistance that has since played support throughout these days. If a pullback comes in, that's a good opportunity to buy more. So don't freak out. of course, we have been setting ourselves up for this, so we can't be mad now if it does pull back harder than we think it's going to. I honestly think that we've been setting ourselves up for this type of correction in order for Wall Street to correlate with Main Street and the actual conditions of our economy. And we need to address those and face up to that. But not to get too far into all that, once again, I thank you all for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in whatever form or fashion is more comfortable for you. I'm always on Discord. I'm always on Facebook chat and our chat group, unless I'm here on live, of course, or if I'm working on something else. Expect the mobile app to be coming out Monday. I'm expecting to publish it to Google Play on Monday, and then I have to apply for Apple Store, which is the longer process, I understand. But I expect that Google Play to be published and approved by Friday. So hopefully by next Saturday, Coffee and Stock Sessions, we can have this set up and you're able to receive this information a little bit more quicker than having to go through the website that we have designed, which the website is sufficient. I just know there's some things that irritate people, I guess you could say, with accessing it from the website. And with that mobile app, we'll be able to do push notifications, dedicated push notifications. So like the email alerts, I know they get mixed in with other emails that you receive and stuff like that. So other than that, though, man, I appreciate y'all for watching. Stay in touch with us, and be sure to tune in next time for any new updates that we might have. Of course, Justin, thank y'all all for being here. Justin, J-Dub, Tehran, I hope I'm saying that right. Michael, who else was in here this morning? Nick. Justin, both Justins, Justin Weber and other Justin. I saw Antoine in here this morning. I'm not sure if he's still here with us. Shad, Steven, I appreciate all y'all for being here, bro. And I'm hoping, this is helping y'all grow with us here at Millennial Investments. And I'm more than willing to, walk through this process of growth period with you and help you identify these mistakes that I made. We've made a lot of good money here, and we've lost some good money here, too, at the same time. So, it's all about breaking even and learning from the process. Other than that, man, have a great weekend. Go let your brains ease off these stock charts for a minute, unless you're just willing to do research all week. And be sure to tune in with us on Monday, 7 a.m. Central Time for our coffee and stock sessions as we watch the market open, pre-open, I guess you can call it, and then going into market open as well. Other than that, connect with us over the weekend on our social media networks. Thank you all. Be safe. Be smart. Good luck, and good luck trading ultimately. And thank you for the support and love, first and foremost. All right. Talk to you guys later. Getting back to the fam. God bless you too, man.